Man, don't you just love continuing to talk about new Florida Panthers winger Brady Tkachuk? The next best thing to hit Southern Florida? Nah, look, I get it. It's annoying, isn't it? Unless you're a Florida Panthers fan, Brady Tkachuk has become like the ultimate villain in Ottawa Senators lore. And it only took like 3 months. That's all it took. It took a showing at the Olympic Games where he was admittedly pretty effective. It took all the aftermath of what happened at those Olympics. It took the podcast. It took the conversations on the podcast. And then it took Brady Tkachuk showing up in the playoffs to do nothing. For Sens fans to finally start feeling like, okay, maybe this guy ain't the guy to be the captain of our team long term as we continue to try and progress and inevitably win a Stanley Cup. And then he gets traded to Florida, and the tides turn 100% on Brady. None of his Ottawa Senators teammates, spare Olympic teammate Jake Sanderson, go out there and post anything on Instagram that says thank you to Brady or that acknowledges Brady or whatever. But the moment Jordan Spence signs an extension, almost everybody goes out there and posts some sort of a story. Oh yeah, Spence is back. Yeah, this is awesome. It just goes to show you, maybe those rumors that we were hearing, the things that were being reported about the Ottawa Senators not actually liking their captain all too much, maybe those things had some semblance of truth to it. Just going out there and hypothesizing. Now, the reason we are talking about Brady once more is because of the new Wingmen with Matthew and Brady podcast episode, where the fellas are on the pod and they're finally able to talk as teammates in the NHL, not as just brothers or as Olympic teammates. I'm not even going to play the clip. Y'all can go out there and watch the clip on your own time. Brady's new favorite teammate. Brady goes out there and tries to break down whom it is he thinks is going to be fun to play with. He says, oh, there's so many great players. I'd be happy and lucky to play with everybody. Marchand, Lundell, like Swaggy, Benny, Lundy, Lars, like I am so lucky. And then Matthew is like, hey, you're not saying me. And then Brady's like, you're a thing of the past. Obviously, brothers are going to joke around. But, like, Brady Tkachuk is a guy that I sort of feel bad for in a way. And it's not because I pity him, but it's more because based off of, like, the podcast itself specifically, I think we mentioned this a few videos ago, back when Brady was a senator. But, like, when Brady was on that episode with his brother and his dad was, like, kind of taking these innocuous shots, these pseudo-innocent shots at players in the NHL who don't play back-to-backs, insinuating some sort of a thing going on with Linus Ullmark, something like that. Brady just didn't have the guts or maybe even the space in his brain to feel like it was necessary to speak up and defend his own team. Of course, Keith, specifically, they were able to retcon that and say, oh no, Keith was talking about the Panthers, not Ottawa. He wasn't making fun of Ottawa. Not making fun of Linus Ullmark and his issues, nah. What are you talking about? But Brady is a guy that when he's in that environment with his brother and with his dad, it doesn't really feel like he has any chance to bite back. Like, he's there, he's at the bottom of the totem pole, and he's taking all the punches. Even though he's the captain of a Canadian team, he's the captain of a team that hasn't won back-to-back Stanley Cups, like the Florida Panthers. And I feel like there's a little bit of that going on in this new episode of the podcast where Brady is like, okay, now I'm the new thing on this new team, and now I can experience these amazing things. Alex Adams said, if I'm Travis Green, I play this in front of his Sens team ahead of Tkachuk's return to Ottawa. What fuel? And, like, the video is so happy-go-lucky. Like, Brady is very genuinely, passionately happy to be a part of the Florida Panthers. And it's like, bro, you were just the captain of a Canadian team. Where have we seen this before? Quinn Hughes literally had the same thing happen to him earlier this season, where he was talking about his own experience and how amazing he was because, not everybody's been the captain of a Canadian team like I have. I've experienced a level of pressure that other players haven't had the unfortunate burden of dealing with. Like, there's this prima donna-esque attitude that has come out of Quinn Hughes. I feel like for Brady, it's like childhood innocence. Again, pseudo-innocence, if you wanted to say that. This post had 200,000 views and 84 replies. This reminds me of the Ted Lasso episode where Richmond has to play against Nate, and they show the team clips of Nate tearing up the believe sign. And then the players go out and try to murder. And lose. OMG, Alex. This should be motivation enough for the entire team to play their balls off to prove they don't him. What? What are you talking about? Another reply says, I hope the Sens beat the tar out of the Panthers this year. The Canes and Sens both hate Florida. Complimenting your new team does not equal insulting your own team. Goodness gracious, Sens fans are soft and weak. Gosh, I hope the Panthers miss the playoffs for the next 5 years and Brady never even sniffs the playoffs again. They should include his pass on the 5-on-3 in his highlight video. The fact is, it doesn't even matter what he says. Y'all will still continue talking about him and even promote his podcast. Good going. And yeah, you know what? I think that's what I'm doing here too, right? I'm technically promoting the Wingmen podcast by talking about it here in a video. But I thought it was interesting to just dive into what fans are going out there and saying about Brady, especially in reference to his new interview. Mind you, he was moved off of Stutzle's line last year because he couldn't keep up. If that's true, if that's the way things went down in Ottawa, maybe it led to him getting 0 points in the playoffs in the first round as his team, that he captained, by the way, got swept by the inevitable champs. I mean, Brady Tkachuk is going to really come into his own this upcoming season because I don't think he's going to be listed as a top-line guy in Florida. With Barkov, Reinhart, and everybody else over there, like, you are one of many, Brady, especially with your brother on that unit as well. I honestly don't know if Brady Tkachuk even sniffs 83 points in a season ever again. Like, is that a weird thing to go out there and say? Like, he'll be a menace for sure. He's not going to dial it down physically. But he might be just a little bit more of a hothead in Florida than he would be in Ottawa, would he not? No more responsibility as captain. No more presence on the first line, on all the units and everything. Like, what does Florida's power play look like? Let's go over to the Panthers and their lines. I don't even know if Brady Tkachuk is on the top power play. Is that a fair thing to say? Yeah, it's probably fair, isn't it? Okay, they've got Brady Tkachuk, Matthew Tkachuk, Reinhart, Ekblad, and Barkov, but you could very easily have Marchand there instead. That's possible. Lundell, Verhage, Bennett, Seth Jones, like, hey. This is a good team. Is Brady going to guaranteed be a number one guy who gets 80-plus points a year? I mean, if he's playing with Barkov and Reinhart, then okay, it's possible. But Matthew Tkachuk also exists, so does Carter Verhage. There's going to be a lot of competition for those top roster spots in Florida, right? And I guess the point of this video was to just go out there and talk more so about Brady's response to getting sent over to Florida and how it's kind of embarrassing for Senators fans just to look at this and be like, yeah, that guy was our captain. That was the guy to go out there and defend the honor of the Ottawa Senators. And all these shenanigans that we saw over the last few months have culminated to this, where the podcast now features two guys on the same team rather than two brothers. So, with all that said, you can let me know your thoughts in the comments. How do you feel about the Brady Tkachuk interview and how things have continued ever since his departure from Ottawa? I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.